Hey, you guys, jumping on real quick. According to Newsweek, Tech and Science, um, says, was there an earthquake in New York City last night? Yes, but you almost definitely didn't feel it. And the article goes on to state, believe it or not, an earthquake struck just a couple of miles off Manhattan Island on Tuesday at 7:26 p.m. Eastern Time. If you missed it, you certainly weren't alone. The tiny rumble, which hit Long Island, City, Queens, registered a measly magnitude of just zero point 0.9, the United States Geological Survey reported. The quake struck at approximately depth of 1.2 miles, the agency added. Magnitude describes the energy released at an earthquake's focus. It is pinpointed by seismographs, machines buried deep underground that monitor motion. Intensity describes how strong the shaking caused by a quake is at a particular location. Scientists work out intensity from the effect of the shaking on people, buildings, and environment, the USGS states on its website. Geologists describe intensity using a scale known as typical maximum modified Mercalli intensity, or TMMI. Earthquakes of such a small size are rarely noticed by people. The USGS notes quakes between magnitude 1 and 3 typically produce a reading of I on the intensity scale. I believe that's 1, maybe I. They are usually only felt by a few people who happen to be experiencing especially favorable conditions. The magnitude of New York's earthquake was so small, it wasn't even included on the USGS worldwide list of latest earthquakes. A larger earthquake with a magnitude between 3 and 3.9 would produce more intensive effects, a TMMI of 2 or 3. On the lower end of the scale, people on upper floors of buildings might notice such a quake if they happen to be resting. On the upper end, a quake may be quite noticeable to people inside buildings, but they may not realize they are experiencing an earthquake, the agency notes. Between magnitude 4 and 4.9, earthquakes typically become much more noticeable, disturbing crockery, windows, and doors, and making motor vehicles visibly rock. More intense earthquakes will wake up most sleepers, knock objects over, and even stop pendulum clocks. A magnitude 5 to 5.9, more intense shaking may start to damage buildings, especially those of poor construction or design. Everyone would typically feel an earthquake of this magnitude. Between magnitude 6 and 6.9, intense shaking may cause considerable damage, even to well built structures, heavy furniture, chimneys, columns, and even walls may fall. At a magnitude of 7 or higher, damage to buildings from an earthquake can range from minor and well built structures to total, depending on the intensity of a quake. Even well built wooden structures may be destroyed, bridges and railway lines could bend, and a majority of masonry buildings could fall. Small earthquakes are felt every couple of years in New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington urban corridor, according to the USGS. More than 550 earthquakes have been felt in New York since 1737, according to the Northeast States Emergency Consortium, but only two of these have caused notable damages to New York itself. An earthquake that struck the city on December 18th, 1737, damaged several chimneys. A better studied quake on August 10th, 1884, cracked plaster and broke windows throughout the city, a consortium noted. Anyway, that was an interesting article.